Toxic thoughts are invisible, but they are powerful. They don't arrive screaming. They arrive quietly, like a shadow, a whisper, a subtle voice in the back of your mind that says, something is wrong, even when nothing is. And slowly, day by day, they destroy your peace. Because toxic thoughts don't just affect your mood, they change the way you see life. They make you doubt yourself. They make you overthink every word. They make you replay conversations from years ago, as if your mind is trapped in a loop it can't escape. And the scariest part? Most people never realize it's happening. They think it's just their personality. They think it's just stress. They think everyone feels this way. But toxic thoughts are not normal. They are not truth. They are a mental pattern. And today, you're going to break it. Because the moment you understand what toxic thoughts really are, they begin to lose their power. Let me tell you something most people never hear. Your mind was never meant to be a prison, but for millions of people, it becomes one. They wake up tired, not because of work, but because of the war inside their head. They lie down at night exhausted, but their mind won't stop. Thought after thought, fear after fear, worst case scenario after worst case scenario, like the brain is addicted to suffering. And maybe you know exactly what that feels like. Maybe you've had days where nothing bad actually happened, but you still felt heavy. You still felt anxious. You still felt like peace was far away. That is the toxic thought cycle. And it begins with one lie, that your thoughts are you. That whatever appears in your mind must be real. That if you think something, it must mean something. But psychology tells us something shocking. A thought is not a fact. A thought is not reality. A thought is simply a sentence generated by the brain. That's all. The brain produces thoughts the way lungs produce breath, automatically, randomly, constantly. And here's the mistake most people make. They believe every thought deserves attention. But toxic thoughts are not messages, they are mental noise. Let's make this real. Imagine you're walking outside and suddenly your mind says, you're not doing enough, you're falling behind, you're going to fail. That thought feels personal. It feels true. It feels like a warning. But what if it's not? What if it's just a mental habit built from stress, built from fear, built from old emotional wounds that your brain repeats because it learned to survive that way? Most toxic thoughts are not new. They are recycled. They are old programs running in the background. And they feed on one thing: your attention. The more you fight them, the stronger they feel. The more you argue with them, the louder they become. Because toxic thoughts are like fire. Attention is the oxygen. So the question becomes, how do you remove the oxygen? How do you stop feeding the fire? This is where most people get trapped. They think the solution is to think harder, to analyze more, to find the perfect answer. But overthinking is not the cure. It is the disease. Toxic thoughts cannot be solved at the level of thought. They must be solved at the level of awareness. And this is the first psychology secret. You do not defeat toxic thoughts by fighting them. You defeat them by seeing them. Right now, take a moment. Notice what your mind is doing. Is it quiet? Or is it searching? Is it calm? Or is it scanning for something wrong? That scanning, that constant mental tension is not intelligence. It is survival mode. Your brain is trying to protect you, but it is protecting you from threats that don't exist. This is why toxic thoughts are exhausting. They turn life into danger. A text message becomes fear. A silence becomes rejection. A mistake becomes catastrophe. Everything becomes a red flag. And suddenly, you are not living. You are mentally surviving. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman named Sarah. Sarah was successful. People thought she had everything together, but inside, her mind was chaos. Every night, she replayed her day. Every word she said, every look someone gave her. She would ask herself, did I sound stupid? Do they secretly hate me? What if I ruined everything? And the worst part? She couldn't stop. Even on good days, her mind would find something, a tiny imperfection, and turn it into a storm. That is what toxic thoughts do. They don't allow peace. They don't allow stillness, because stillness feels unsafe to an anxious brain. Sarah tried everything: motivation, podcasts, positive thinking, but nothing worked. Until she learned one truth, a truth that changed everything. She was not her thoughts. She was the one listening. And the moment she understood that, the prison door opened. Because toxic thoughts only control you when you identify with them. So here is the first step, the Mind Zen step. The moment a toxic thought appears, do not follow it, do not argue with it, do not believe it. Instead, label it. Say this: this is a toxic thought. That's it. Simple, but powerful. Psychology shows that naming an emotion or thought reduces its intensity because the brain shifts from reaction to observation, and observation is freedom. Most people live inside their thoughts. Mind Zen teaches you to step outside them. The toxic thought says, "You're not enough." Mind Zen says, "I notice my mind creating insecurity." Do you feel the difference? One is identity, one is awareness, and awareness breaks the spell. Now, here is the second step, and this comes from Stoicism. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotion, it is about mastering perspective. Stoics understood something deeply. You cannot control what appears in your mind, but you can control what you accept as truth. So when a toxic thought arises, ask the Stoic question: is this within my control? If not, release it. Because peace is not found in control, peace is found in surrender. Most suffering comes from trying to control the uncontrollable, trying to control what people think, trying to control the future, trying to control outcomes. But Stoicism reminds us, the mind becomes unbreakable when it stops demanding certainty. Now comes the third step, the physical reset. Because toxic thoughts are not just mental, they are biological. Your nervous system is involved. When toxic thoughts appear, your body tightens, your breathing becomes shallow, your heart speeds up. The body thinks danger is near. So the fastest way to silence toxic thoughts is to signal safety through the body. This is the 60-second habit. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Do this 3 times. That long exhale tells your brain, I am safe. And when the body feels safe, the mind stops screaming. This is mindfulness not as a concept, but as a weapon against mental chaos. Mindfulness is the art of returning to the present, because toxic thoughts live in 2 places, the past and the future. Regret, fear, replay, what if? But peace only lives here, now. So every time toxic thoughts pull you away, return. Return to breath. Return to the room. Return to reality. Because reality is always calmer than imagination. And that is the final psychology secret. Toxic thoughts are not reality. They are predictions. They are stories. They are mental simulations. And you do not have to live inside them. You can watch them, like clouds passing. You do not chase clouds. You do not fight clouds. You let them move. And eventually, they disappear. This is how peace returns, not by forcing the mind to be silent, but by refusing to feed the noise. So remember this.